Though the Israelites were no longer standing at Sinai, our Torah portion begins by stating that the mitzvah of Shemitah, the requirement to release the land, was already given at Sinai. The rabbis explain that Shemitah is being used by the Torah as paradigmatic. Just as this commandment was already fully explained to Moses in Sinai, so too all of Torah's commandments were fully given and explicated to Moses at Sinai. This answer seems slightly incomplete. After all, the Torah could have made this very point with any commandments. Why was it important for the Torah to specifically draw our attention to the fact that Shemitah, in all its finer details, was already given at Sinai? Perhaps we can draw some insight from the opening of Psalm 126. In it we read, Shir Hamalot, Beshuv Adonai et Shivat Zion, Ha'inu Kechomim, a song of ascent. When the Lord returns the returnees to Zion, we were like dreamers. In the psalm, the returnees to Zion speak of their return in the present tense, but of their dreams in past tense. When the Lord returns present, we were past like dreamers. The simple explanation is that when we return to Zion, we will be like dreamers, meaning our return will feel like a dream. However, this closer reading of the interplay of the present tense and past tense suggests that while the return is happening now, the dreams began long ago. In other words, the returnees are making a powerful claim. We are returning now only because we dreamed of this moment previously. It is our very dreams from the past that are now bringing us home. We can think of Shemitah being taught at Sinai in a similar vein. The people standing at Mount Sinai were recently freed slaves. They still had to cross the desert. They still had to conquer the land. Countless obstacles laid before them. I would bet that none of them believed that the day will ever come when they would own their own land, or that they would ever benefit from its produce and fruit. Needless to say, none of them could have imagined a time when they would relinquish the land and allow for a sabbatical year. Already at Mount Sinai, the Torah planted the seeds. Already at Sinai, the Torah forced the Israelites to see what eventually would be and begin to envision a more idealized society. Shemitah belongs at Sinai because Sinai, with a desert still before us, is where we need to begin to dream. This teaching is also hinted by Lecha Dodi's description of God's creation of the world. Sof ma'aseh b'machshavat chila, last in deed, but first in thought. Though the world began in chaos already at that moment, God envisioned the order and rest brought by Shabbat. Indeed, Shabbat was created last indeed, but it was the very first thing God had envisioned for this world. It was first in thought. During these dark times, we too stand at Mount Sinai with a desert before us. Like refugees, we are struggling to find our way home. Like the Creator, we see a world in utter chaos. Our tradition teaches us now is the time to discuss Shemitah in all its finer details. Now is the time to begin to dream. Now is the time to envision our very last deed. What home or community or world do we envision returning to after COVID-19? What have we done to start planning and planting for that world? Shabbat Shalom.